Hello, you have a prepaid call from
Keith Jesperson,
Bruce Davis.
Patton Clark, Robert Barno.
What's your friend?
Hey, everybody, welcome to another edition of the Lighter Side of True Crime. I'm your host, Keith Rovere. Today, we are going to be seeing and hearing from the Selfie Killer, Amanda Taylor. I've been talking to her off and on for a few months now, and I always mention a podcast, but I talk to maybe 50 or 60 different people at different prison facilities across the country every week, and sometimes even monthly. And it wasn't really seeming too interested in doing, which is fine. But then one day she's like, "Oh, well, I want to do the podcast." I'm like, "Okay, let's do it." So we tried it a few times, but when you're talking to somebody at a prison facility, but not always in control of their own schedule, so we tried a few times. So we did get a chance to post a little quick tease, if you will, where she was just like, "Hi, I'm Amanda Taylor, the Selfie Killer. I'm going to be on the upcoming episode with me, on the lighter side of true crime." It went viral. Usually if I have a popular post, it'll get maybe 10,000 views, 20,000 views here and there. But this post, as of today, 700,000 views, countless likes, bookmarks, comments on my TikTok page. And it literally blew up and went viral. So I'm assuming this is going to be, pretty watched, podcast. Ton of negative comments too. Now, if you're a true crime lover, and know what I'm about. I have many men and women on the show, serial killers, all different types of people from the true crime genre on the show. Usually we talk about positive things in their life, positive change in their life. Sometimes, like tonight, we're going to be talking a little bit about the crimes. I have the happy face killer, Keith Jesperson, on countless times talking about the crimes. If you're not a true crime fan and you just see somebody who's in prison talking about being on the podcast, and you just a quick Google search, you find they're in for murder, you're going to see mostly negative comments without really knowing this is a true crime podcast. If you're not a true crime fan, you're probably going to get some negative comments too. But like I said, podcast isn't for everybody. This is really for true crime fans who want to hear from people who have committed crimes and the reasonings why they did it. Did they turn a life around? What part of prison facilities in their programs work? What doesn't work? I'm a big advocate for positive change in people's lives, positive reinforcement in prison. It's not punish when you turn people into monsters. Anyway, so I have all different people from different walks of life and different backgrounds, different crimes on the show, and authors. We got a couple authors coming up. We got Schmitty, Charles Schmidt. His wife is going to be on the podcast. She wrote a book about her time with a serial killer, marrying and still, I think, even in love with a serial killer. She's going to be coming up next week. But tonight, we're going to be talking to Amanda Taylor, this selfie killer. So, without further ado, here's Amanda.
Hello.
Hey, she is.
I'm here. It's so great to see you again.
You do. How you doing?
I'm good. It's a little chaotic in here, so please ignore the noise.
Oh, that's good. Well, welcome to the podcast.
Hi. I'm excited.
Well, it's funny. Every time that we talk on the phone, or you always have this big, beautiful smile on your face. I mean, you're not actually in a place, sunshine and rainbows all the time. But why is it that you always seem like to be a positive mood, or how do you stay in a positive mood? I mean, your surroundings aren't always positive in there, but you always got this smile on your face every time I see you.
Maybe I'm just crazy.
No.
I don't know. No, but honestly, Keith, you just got to be happy no matter what. Like, I'm just thankful for each and every day, I guess. And I don't know, I can make the best out of anywhere. I've always been like that.
That's good. And even like the few times we video chatted when you're, you're running a little bit late or something happened. Everybody who has hopped on real quick was so nice and so polite. Hey, how you doing? You must be Keith. You're doing good. I'm glad to see you. She'll be right there, like big smiles. And what you're at now, I know you transferred from one place to this area of the facility. How do you have, a good surrounding there, a good group of people, or a couple people you can connect with good? Is it a better area than other areas of the facility for you?
Oh yeah, this is a much better surrounding. I was in the honor wing when I first started speaking with you, and it was a little, it was more difficult in there, because I don't know. It's, the honor wing is people that have been here for a lot longer, and I guess they've let their time get to them, so they're more. It's more of like a down, like sad atmosphere. And here, it's all kinds of different people, all kinds of different ages, like different release dates. Like it's just a different bunch. So
Yeah.
it's more life.
Good, good.
Not so robotic and like
Hmm.
I don't know. It's funner. It's better.
Well, that's good. That's definitely
The
important.
energy is a lot better in the wing that I'm in now.
Well, that's good. I'm sure it makes time go a lot easier. The days go quicker when you can, not that you're enjoying yourself so much, but at least it makes it a little bit easier for you and for the other girls too, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's great.
That's fine. The one thing we haven't really talked about, we always talk, true crime this and true crime that. You never really told me, like, when did it start for you? Like, when did you really start getting interest in true crime? Because right now it's probably more popular now than it was when you were out there. Probably just started getting rolling, but now it's like everywhere.
Oh
Everywhere.
yeah, it's a lot more acceptable now, I guess,
Yeah.
than when I was at home.
Well, what was it
When
for
I
you?
was at home, it was not so great to be into.
Hmm. And what started it for you?
Um,
What really got you going in true crime?
Honestly, like I was I don't know, I was pretty young. Um, I was Charles Manson was the first person that I really got into.
That's what I was going to ask you. Who were the first couple people? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so I took a big like interest in him, which grew to an obsession. But my dad was in prison. He was in prison all my life, and that's what really like interested me was like he was in there for murder as well, and just learning like what knowing what he was going through and who he is, and uh, I always felt so sad for him having to be stuck in there away from like me and my mom and stuff.
Hmm.
So and then I learned more about the prison culture and stuff, and I just took it. I was very fascinated with it.
Oh, gotcha. Now, was Rex a part of that with you too? Was he into that just as much as you were? And did you
Oh
like?
yeah,
Now,
he loved it.
did you guys get to write anybody?
Oh yeah, we wrote all kinds of people throughout our life. You know, I met him when I was 13, 12 or 13, and I moved in with him when I was about 15.
Hmm.
And we started writing people around that age.
Hmm.
The first group of people we wrote was Charles Manson and Dennis Rader, Richard Ramirez, like the big
Yeah.
names. And the only one out of them that we got a response from was Richard Ramirez,
Okay.
who we ended up being very, very close with.
Ah, nice. Hmm.
He turned out to be such. He's an amazing man. I
Hmm.
thought he was a very amazing man. But he'll always be one of my favorite people that we corresponded with.
Now, I'm sure you've seen clips of him. There's not too many of him in the media, going to interviews and stuff. What was the difference between the Richard that you know and the one, because he does kind of put on a persona for the interviews that might not be really who he is just for the media. What was it like? Who he was, as much as you got to know him anyway? Who do you think he was different than from what the media thinks that he is from the few interviews that he did?
Um, he took he spoke a lot about our family. Like he was very intrigued with at the time it was just me, Rex, and my son, our son Damien. Dayla wasn't born yet, and he always wanted to hear about him. Like I have birthday cards for Damien from like age 2 to 6. That he would send to him of like Venom from Spider Man or
Mhm.
like the Joker from Batman. But I just love the way he was concerned about how our family was doing, and like he
Mhm.
wants to hear stories about our trips and like Damien graduating kindergarten and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
that he never talked about like his crimes or like murder, rape, or like nothing like that. And
Mhm.
I don't know. He's a human. He was a human. He's not just a monster
Mhm.
that the media wants all of them to seem like.
Yeah. And I think a lot. I mean, obviously, most of the people that I write to too and communicate with over all these years, and usually the last thing they want to do is talk about the crime. Because that
Yeah.
they get hounded so much by the media and the press or TV producers, and it seems like you can really get to know them who they are. Whether you're getting to know them psychologically or just on the friendship level, just to talk to them, get to know who they are, is talking about life. Like people were amazed. They
Yeah.
always ask me, "Well, what was so and so like to talk to? Was so and so like we chatted a little bit today online where David Berkowitz reached out to me today. So what do you talk about? Positive things and church stuff and what he was doing in his community church
Yeah.
at the prison. Things you're not really going to think you're when a serial killer you're talking to, we're going to be talking about, or BTK. I said I've talked to him numerous times, and you don't realize the poetry that he writes and the cartoon doodles and things. And it's like completely different that you would actually think somebody like is going to talk to like with drool
He's the
coming in.
one that did the little brochure thing you showed me, right?
That was David
Did-
Berkowitz.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I showed you the caveland art with the little cute little mushroom and flowers and everything else.
Oh yeah. And
Uh,
that
but
was so amazing.
yeah, but he does like puppy dogs and haiku and poetry, and it's amazing. But you're not going to associate BTK with haiku, and poetry. But or somebody you see some of the artwork I have in my house and some in the room. Some of the most beautiful pieces you've ever seen are the origami from Robert Yates, but you're not expecting that to.
Oh yeah, that was
You're
beautiful.
expecting like skulls and knives and this and that, but no, that's there are different there are another part of them, not just the things that they've done. Uh,
Exactly.
Now with you and Rex, I mean, do you guys ever have like this like a Bonnie and Clyde moment, or like what we can go off and kind of go a little little nutty ourselves and have that Bonnie and Clyde thing, or was it more like just writing to them, or do you actually have a moment where we can actually go on go on a little ride and just take off, or we just more about growing a family for you guys and just interested in true crime separately?
No, it's both.
All
Both.
right.
We definitely had our fantasies.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we had we loved our family though,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where like we struggled because we were very young when we got together, so we were still like and we were very young when we had our child. I was
Yeah.
16, he was 18, so we were still like growing into adults and stuff, but um we were still lost in the dark, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to balance like the normal family life and have that. It was a struggle
Yeah.
because we got a lot of like negative, like a lot of negativity within our world because
Mm-hmm.
of what our interests were.
Yeah.
But it
No.
didn't stop us.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, one of the things you were publicly, spoke about plenty of times was Rex, with his addiction with opioids, which so many people struggle with. Even today, a lot of my followers have a loved one, family member, spouse, whatever, struggling with that. Without going, too much, I don't get too sad about it. But how difficult was it, living with somebody struggling with that? And did you know the whole time that his father was the one that was feeding him, all the poison, all the opioids? Or is it something you found out later on? And how was that? I mean, that must have been a horrible dynamic to kind of grow a family and love somebody and kind of work through all that.
Yeah, it was really hard. I knew it was his dad. Like I
Oh, okay.
knew what they did together. I lived with them, so but I wasn't very familiar with like what they were. I wasn't exposed to a lot of that stuff with my family.
Yeah.
Like I knew like about drinking and like a little bit of other stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
to watch him and his dad with like pills and stuff like that was a whole new atmosphere for me. Um, and I didn't quite understand what he was going through inside from it.
Mm-hmm.
But he had been doing drugs with him since he was 12 years old. So,
Oh, wow.
and I watched all of that like addiction turn into one of the worst things ever.
Mm-hmm.
It was really sad to watch. It's really sad to deal with.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Addiction's no joke, and I hate people who are like, no, it's an excuse. They can get better if they want to. Like, no, like it's mental, it's physical, it
Yeah.
takes a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It's a little
but
different
yeah,
than,
it was definitely hard.
especially with opioids. It's a little different than smoking a joint. It's a whole
Yeah,
different level of taking over. Like I said, it consumes you. It's almost like possesses you, and it's not like you just snap your fingers and yeah, I think I'll quit today. No, it definitely runs a lot deeper than that for sure. And
no, when he would come off it or try to stop or whatever, it looked like his body was legit going through an exorcism.
mm,
Like all like the symptoms and stuff, and it was the scariest thing in the world. And to know like, and that's why I would be so angry with Charlie, his father, because like all it takes is just like one pill just to make all that go away. Like just, and he would hold that over his head.
uh,
He would play puppet master, and it drove me crazy. Because it really damaged Rex's health,
yeah.
and his mental.
Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, we know Rex took his life, sadly. Now, is that something
Yeah.
like instantly where did something like snap inside you? Or did it take a while to really, process the, all the anger and the sadness and the pain and rage, everything inside you, where obviously you ended up taking, the father's life? Is that something you knew instantly, like, oh, you got to go? Or is that something you just happened a little bit later down the line?
I was definitely mad. Like I was mad before Rex even died about it. Like I hated Charlie leading up to it. Because he knew, our kids were about to get took from us. Like there was a whole lot that was behind his father, like in these pills and stuff. And no, I had a lot of anger towards Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, I tried to get help for it. I tried to like figure out how to deal with it, how to cope with it, and I didn't get the help that I needed. So yeah, I stopped. I
Mm-hmm.
eventually all that anger, but that's how I am. Like I like to stay positive. I like to stay happy, but I also will stuff things like like negative emotions and stuff until I explode. And I'm about to turn 34. I've still yet to figure out how to deal with those emotions
Yeah.
the correct way, or because I don't believe in medication. I don't believe in like you need pills to help you get better. So I try to do everything on my own, but it's very difficult.
Yeah.
It's extremely difficult. But yeah, I just let it all set in, and then finally I just stopped.
Yeah. Now, what was the time of the crime itself? Was it was like 3:20? 3:20. Of watching a few documentaries. What was that? That time was significant. What was the 3:20 symbolize? Was it
It was 327. Is
3:27?
mine
Okay.
and Rex's birthday.
Ah, that's what it was. Gotcha. And then when, so now who was like Sean Ball? Like now, where did he come in as? Is that somebody you already knew, or you just kind of grabbed him because hey, he has a car, let me take him? Or where did he come into the
He's the
picture?
lucky winner. Come here. No, he was actually really good friends with Rex growing
Okay.
up. Him and Rex played music together,
Mm-hmm.
and I had met Sean when I was like 13 at a he was in a punk band, and then he just disappeared. And when he showed back up, he said he was overseas in like the military and stuff or something, but he was really in prison. Um, but when he got out, Rex had just passed away. I believe he actually got in contact with one of my best friend from home, and it was like a month after Rex passed away. And when he heard what happened, it like really messed with him really bad. And he didn't like Charlie either.
Yeah.
He didn't like how everything played out.
Now, we don't have to go in really too much in detail, but Keith Jesperson, a happy face killer, he's been on my podcast countless times. And one of the first things he said, now he wanted to go into detail about the crimes, and that's what he chose to do. But the one thing he said that really, it not made me think so much, but it kind of blew me away. He's like, when you frame it with strangulation, he's like, it's not like the movies. Because he thought in his mind, give it about 10, 13 seconds, whatever, and it's over. He's like, no, we're talking about 2 or 3 minutes. Is that something like when, during the midst of obviously with the stabbing, did you realize that this isn't like the movies? This is, this is not like what they portray on, Law and
Yeah.
Order. Was it completely different, or is that something even going through your mind? Or is like, wait, this isn't how it's supposed to go?
It was definitely not like the movies. um, when I first stabbed him, there was barely any blood, so I didn't think it went through. So I'm like, geez, oh god, this is gonna be awkward. Um, but it did. It takes
Yeah.
a lot longer for the blood to appear, I guess. It's not just like. Um, but yeah, that was one of my first thoughts. Was it's
Yeah.
definitely not like the movies.
Now, obviously, you're famous, for the selfie. Now, is that just something spontaneous? Or is that something you plan to do? Or is that just something, just not thinking? Or where did that come about?
Well, I know, like, dealing with like the true crime world and stuff. I know that, like, well, I knew I was gonna go to prison forever, um, behind it, and I stand for what I did. So I could either die or I could either go to prison, and I knew like I would have to survive. So there's so many murderers, um, who don't get the credit they deserve. Well, okay, that probably sounds bad. Who don't get acknowledgement or just get or in here just struggling or whatever. So I was like, no, I'm going to be known. I'm going to. I want the world to see what I did for one because I took pride at the time. Yes, I was a little immature about it. But dude, I love Rex. So I battle with this because part of me is like, yeah, I need to grow up and I need to like it's not okay. But then like no, like I'm proud of what I did because I did that for my people. Like you're supposed to if you love somebody, you're supposed to go to the fullest for them. And I don't know. So I wanted to show it off what I did because I was taking pride in it for those moments, and I didn't want to come to prison and be just this be forgotten or whatever. So I don't know. That's why I took the picture.
Now, who is you say it was a blogger? No one really, I don't know who it was. You just one of the documentaries, the blogger that you guys you were talking to. You gave her the picture, I guess, to post on social media. Is that was, or who was it? Who was a person? A friend of yours, or just a random blogger? They didn't really get into detail about who that was.
Well, I was talking to these two girls. Am I allowed to say their names?
Well, you do whatever you want. Don't matter to me.
Okay, well, their names are Elena Pride and Jessica Miller, and they were two girls who are also known in the like murderabilia scene.
Oh, I know Elena.
And yeah, well, she was who I was talking to last. Jessica is who I sent the photo to, and I had been talking to them for a couple months prior to everything, and I had other plans. That wasn't my plan. My plan wasn't to kill Charlie.
Oh,
I
okay.
had different plans.
Hmm.
And I had been talking to them prior to that, and I don't know why they were so kind to me, and then it's like they turned on me. I don't know. They're fake. It hurt. It like messed with me a little bit because I was like, dude, how do you support Philip Jablonski, but you're on there bashing me? Like, come on. Oh, sorry, I didn't rape freaking children, like kids, or you know what I mean? Like, it just really messed with me because I was very open and close with them and talked to them a lot about like losing Rex and stuff. And
Hmm.
I don't know, they were just fake about the whole situation. Um,
Do you remember the?
but yeah, I think I pitched it to I don't know why I sent the picture to them honestly. I guess because they were who I was in contact with.
Gotcha. Do you remember the phone call? I mean, they at least released the audio of you talking to her while you got pulled over. And you did hear, like,
Hmm.
I think you were saying, whether, you want to go either like a shootout or go out swinging. And it looks like she convinced you to just turn yourself in. Do you remember what was going through your mind at that time? Because they didn't give you time to think. And they just like looked like you couldn't see. I mean, but it sounded like they just didn't even get the chance to turn the car off. They just like yanked you out the window or yanked out the
No.
door or something.
Well, she definitely was not the reason why I decided to turn myself in. I had spoke to my sister as well. I talked to my little sister right before then, and
Hmm.
she was like, "Just please don't kill yourself." She's like, "Rex already did enough on the family. Like, please don't do that to your kid."
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I was like, "God, like, whatever."
Hmm.
I love my sister. I love my kids. Like, so I was like, "Yeah, I guess she's right." But yeah, no. When I getting pulled over and stuff, I'm not gonna lie. I did want to have a shootout with them. But I had literally like 14 guns on each side pulled at me, and that's
Oh,
terrifying. I'm like,
wow.
dude, if I get hit with these bullets and I don't die, I don't want to survive that. Like, that's gonna
Hmm.
hurt. So they smashed
Hmm.
my window and pulled me out. Um,
Uh,
but I put my hands up. I said, okay, I'm done.
hmm.
Because I had guns everywhere. So I didn't want them to think. I was like, whatever, it's take me.
Oh, yeah.
But they were really harsh about it. They were pretty brutal.
Hmm. Now, there's a couple stories. I'm not sure what one's true or not with you and Sean. With his murder, where some just say that you saw a couple girls on the side. Hey, let's go on a little spree, and you were mad at him for not, taking those girls out, or you were mad. Hey, I just used you for the car for the night, whatever it may. So, what was the story with him, or what was the reason that he got, so to speak?
Um, okay, so that's kind of like two different things. So while we were on the road the first day, there were two girls, and I did want him to kill them,
Hmm.
because he was being weird. I didn't think like he was down for the like we were trying to get to New Orleans. We were gonna go to New Orleans, and we were just gonna live until we couldn't anymore.
Hmm.
And he kept breaking my phones. So we pulled over and we saw these two girls. They had phones. They had a new vehicle. We were in a Jeep with band stickers and Virginia plates. Like,
Hmm.
we needed a vehicle or whatever. So I told him he needed to kill them and get their stuff, and he didn't. And so yeah, I got frustrated with that, but I didn't. That's not why I shot him
Hmm.
then. I didn't shoot him till the next day.
Okay.
Because and this is something I battled too. I thought he was trying to overdose and leave me. I don't
Hmm.
know if he was or not. But in that moment, I thought he was. I found a letter in his pocket for his mom that said like it was like a suicide letter, basically.
Oh, wow.
Like, after thinking about it for 10 years, it could have just been like we were gonna die anyway, or something was gonna happen.
Hmm.
So maybe he wasn't trying to die in those moments. I don't know, but he did
Hmm.
take a lot of pills and he was overdosing. So I got mad and I pulled over and I pulled him out of the car and I shot him because he was just lying a lot and he was
Oh.
my feelings that he was trying to leave me.
Yeah, and it seems like from at least what the papers were saying in articles that he lied about a lot of things. Like that he did kill people. He was overseas. Did you kind of know that he wasn't really? Is that I thought that was kind of tying into when you kind of realize I don't think he said he did what he said he did. And almost like a test to see did you really kill anybody or not? And you start to figuring out. Well, I don't think he's.
No, I knew he didn't kill anyone when he started throwing up when we killed Charlie. That was the
Uh,
first thing. As soon as I was done, I looked at him and, like, whatever, I wanted a moment with him, but he's throwing up. And I'm like, what? like, but you just told me you were trained to
Yeah.
kill and you've killed all these people. And he's like, that's the first time I ever really seen anyone die before.
Oh,
And
so
I'm like,
you knew right then. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But then along on the way, like throughout, like the ride and stuff, like he couldn't read a map, but you're a Marine and you were overseas in Afghanistan. How can you not read a map? I can't read a map, and you keep breaking my phone, so we have no GPS. Like we got stuck in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Like it was just little lies after lies.
Mm-hmm. And then you took a picture of. Do you remember taking a picture of? I think it was a gun. I think you took a picture of too. You give it today. Do you remember why
Mhm.
you took a picture of that, or?
Well, because I talked to my mom, and the marshals were with my mother, and I that's when I was on the run or whatever, and I basically, like I said, I believe under the caption I was like, leave me alone, or I'm gonna keep. There's more people that are gonna die. Basically, like I don't know. I thought by posting that or something they would leave my mom alone.
Oh,
I have
okay.
no idea why I did that.
Gotcha. Now, looking back, I'm sure a lot of things you might have did differently, might have did the same. Would you have changed anything, or even on any different course of the events? Anything that you would have changed or tweaked a little bit, or just did everything pretty much the same?
Oh no, I would change a lot. Um, like I want to be home.
Hmm.
I like I don't know. I can't say that like I wouldn't have. I don't know.
Hmm.
I'm still trying to figure it
Yeah,
out.
true. Sounds like
I would
yeah.
have done things cleaner.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I really want to go home. So I guess like I don't know if I could go back, if it's still something I'm battling trying to
Yeah.
figure out.
Now, did it help? Like, obviously, with when you killed the dad, obviously, all that build up anger and all that. Did that get released, or is that something where it you didn't feel like you thought you're going to feel, or did it feel good in your mind of helping getting rid of from the pain of losing Rex and everything else, or is that still kind of not that his pain of the loss isn't with you, but the anger towards the father part of it anyway? Did that kind of get released there, or is that something that you still have?
Um, no, I felt so much better afterwards.
Okay.
I
Hmm.
felt free. I felt, and I'm still like I felt trapped until then. And I know this sounds crazy, but when I went to jail and was waiting for my trial and stuff, and like having to spend that time in there, Keith, I was so happy. Of course, I'm sad because I missed my best friend, I missed my children, I missed my mother, my sister, like, and my life was changing. Like, I was didn't know what was gonna happen, but I um I felt free of
Hmm.
everything,
Hmm.
and I was really going through it at home. Like,
Yeah.
I really needed help. I really tried to get help mentally. And no one wanted to listen to me.
Yeah. So
And
hard.
everyone's solution to getting to fixing it is take this pill, take that pill.
Oh yeah.
Do like no, like let me talk, let me break something, like
Exactly.
something. But I tried.
Hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, it made me feel like a lot better.
Hmm.
Um, it just sucks how it
Yeah.
like being away from my kids.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, at least now we live in a culture where, I mean, not, for you, it wasn't really available to you or the people around you to give you the right information of getting, there is treatment for mental health. And sometimes just talking, just talking to somebody and being listening is a big thing. And, but yeah, it's out. I mean, it's a very, it's prevalent thing, it's out there. But at least now I think more people are open to talk about things like that, especially now true crime's so popular where it's not as odd going to a doctor and saying, "Hey, I'm having these thoughts. Can you help me out?" Where back then, sometimes even 10 years ago, even where even then it wasn't really. They kept it bottled in. They're afraid to say anything else. At least it's a little more open out there, at least. And I was thinking, I mean, how wild is it? We started talking about true crime, you writing people, people that you kind of thought about and the crazy crimes that he did, but now you're the one. Everybody's writing you. And
Yeah.
I mean, any of the now I see crazy requests all the time from people that I talk to, from hand tracings or this or that. I mean, how often
Hmm.
do you get letters or now emails through the tablets? And what are some of the more crazy requests that you got for people to want from you?
Um. Yeah, I do get a lot of people that reach out and stuff. I think like the craziest thing I was ever asked for. A lot of people ask for my hair. They want lockets in
Really?
my hair, and I'm like, yeah, walk around with all these bald
Yeah.
spot. Like, I'm like, it's sweet. That's kind of cool,
Yeah.
but um, I get a lot of people want hand tracings. That's probably the most common thing that
It
people
is
ask
okay.
for. Is,
Oh, that's
but
funny.
probably my hair. That's probably like the. But I get people that I think it's more strange. People will ask me to do video visits,
Hmm.
and then they won't show themselves, and they'll ask me to like put on show like do my makeup or um play with my hair, and they won't. They'll just do this the whole time, and
Oh, jeez.
you know, and then I'll randomly get money on my account a few days later from a name I never heard before, and then that's that. Like,
Oh,
and I guess it's nice. I'm very thankful. But it's very
yeah.
strange.
Yeah. Now, do you find it's hard? Like, I know, at least from my relationships with people that I reach out to and talk to, that a lot of time you get the thrill seekers out there where they'll write one letter or one visit or a tablet, email, whatever, and you write back and then they disappear. They just wanted your autograph,
Yeah.
just wanted a letter. But have you met people on here that, girl or guys, you actually built friendships up with? And how hard is it to kind of weed through? Because you can easily sweet talk somebody for a while, just to keep getting letter after letter and sell it online for $100, $100. How hard is it to really make a friendship and a connection with guy or a girl when you're writing and talking, knowing the true crime market is so relevant right now and prevalent?
Oh, I'm super paranoid. You know that.
I know, I
I
know,
think
yeah.
I questioned you a million
Uh-huh.
times. But no, I've actually I get that a lot, but that's I barely write people. I don't like to write real letters at all.
Hmm.
Um, but I'll write anyone on the kiosk. I enjoy the kiosk, but I've gained some really good. I've gained maybe like five really good friendships throughout my 10 years here of people on there that have stuck with me. My I've met some really good people.
That's good. And they also you have some
Yeah.
access. You have some TV and some cable shows in there. Do you still keep up like on the true crime shows or documentaries? Do you have any favorite shows that you like to watch in there? And what are they?
I like to watch. We have a network, the True Crime Network.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Um, yeah, and they don't play it no more. But I used to love watching Killer Kids. I would get
Hmm.
excited for Saturday night.
Hmm.
Now it's like Killer USA. Your friend's always on there. Todd Coep.
Yeah, talking to him today.
He's
Yeah.
literally on there almost every other episode.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Hmm.
we show him a whole lot. I like to watch that, but I like to watch like I get excited. I love sci-fi, so I get
Hmm.
excited when they do shows like Chucky. I love
Oh,
the
yeah,
Chucky series.
yeah.
Every night I always watch Ashley Banfield. I love
Uh-huh.
her. She hates me probably. She knew who I was,
That,
but I still enjoy her show. I like to follow
yeah,
the Brian Kohlberger case.
yeah.
Um,
Do you hear about the new
and she's
stuff with
so
him?
great. Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
with the
sorta.
Amazon.
I'm trying to.
Okay. Well, there's a new
What?
picture. A new picture was released of him, like in his bathroom. I guess a couple days or a couple hours after the crime itself, of him just basically taking a selfie. It kind of looks like in the bathroom. And the search was they wanted to try to introduce his Amazon search. A couple, he bought, the thing where he could have bought the knife in the sheath, but his search was buying, Googling or not Googling, Amazon searching this like the same knife and the same sheath afterwards. So it's like they're trying to keep it out of court, but it's not looking good, for for him at all.
I'm sorry. Hold on. They're throwing mattresses behind me.
Yeah.
They're packing some girl at First Sag and they're throwing her stuff over the top tier. But yeah, so he really did this, or
Oh, we don't know. I mean, yeah, the Amazon searches are true. I mean, he did do the searches, but now does that prove anything? No, but it's it doesn't. I mean, obviously, doesn't look too good for him. Mm-mm.
okay, well,
I don't
dang,
know. I know.
dang.
But you never
No,
know.
I've been
You never
trying
know.
to catch it the past week.
Hmm.
So I've been on the phone. So they changed our time. So now I'm on the phone at 10 o'clock. So I don't get
Okay.
to catch Ashley until 1 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so tired by then.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Well, no, another show you like to watch is As of I, wrestling, especially
I love
WWE.
wrestling.
So the most important question is, what have you thought of the John Cena heel turn?
I don't like John Cena. I hate him. Anyway, so
Because I know you watched it because I played it for you.
yes, you did. That was crazy. My mouth dropped. I couldn't believe that. No, I don't care much for him. I think I think he's a joke. And I think
Yeah.
he's dead wrong for acting this way.
Of
Don't do
course.
that to the
Yeah.
kids. Don't do that to the babies. Like, you're a hero.
Now, do you?
Stop it.
So you don't get Raw, right? You only got SmackDown. You can't watch Raw, right?
Yeah, they switched
Okay.
Raw to Netflix, so I get SmackDown tonight.
Oh yeah, so that's why we're doing this at 7 o'clock, so we can go both watch
Yeah,
it.
you were in the way of my wrestling.
Mhm. But he did his first promo last week when he came out and talked to everybody who was overseas. Place didn't even let him talk; they were billing him. But that's what he said with the kids. He was pointing to kids in the audience and saying, "It's your fault. Kids like you who wear my shirt and this and that." And the kids are crying. Kids are crying in there, and they should videos.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not okay at all. Like, that's mentally going to mess up a handful of children.
Yeah, thousands
Good for
and
you, John
thousands.
Cena. I hope you feel like a man.
Yeah.
He's my next selfie. Keep messing with these babies.
That's it. I'm going to tell him. That's it. Someone's coming after you. And then and of course Cody Rhodes came out at the end, and the place went nuts and all that. And so it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting feud. And we'll see what happens at
It is.
WrestleMania for sure.
WrestleMania is going to be incredible.
I'm gonna have to set up like 4-hour video visits in a row. They just hold so you can watch all of WrestleMania. We'll watch it together. We'll just hold WrestleMania up and we'll go downstairs at TV. I'll just turn the phone around. We'll watch WrestleMania together.
These pictures of, oh, look at this. Oh my God, that TV is amazing. Why my TV is this small?
You know, we could probably pull that off if I did a bunch of video visits in a row. Had the phone turned around so we can watch the same TV downstairs in my family room. Technically, I don't know how everybody else probably be pissed off because you're watching. You hogged up the video phone for a while.
You'll see probably one person will be next to me. I have one wrestling friend, Cece. All the girls in here hate it. They're like, I'm not watching that fake stuff. They can get out of my life.
Oh, that's funny.
I have one good wrestling friend, but it definitely works. I have wrestling dates with my boyfriend. We that's one thing we bond a whole lot over is wrestling because no one wants to talk wrestling with me. You and him are the only two that get excited at all.
Oh, that's hysterical. Well, listen. Well, thank you for the time. We finally got it together. We talked about it for a while. And is there anything else you want to say, or anything else you want to leave us with? We talked pretty much about everything, including some wrestling. And anything else you want to leave us with, or just?
No, I really appreciate you doing this because I still want I heard you posting the little clip of the preview to this had such negative feedback on TikTok or something. I wrote you about it or whatever, and it's just like a lot of it. They were reading it to me, and it's like, why is she so happy in prison? Why is she so happy to do what she did? Why is she whatever? Be just. I know murder's not okay, but just. That's what the world just needs to stop being mean to people. I know this might sound crazy because I did take somebody's life, but stop being so negative. Embrace one another. Point out the fact I am happy in prison, but what led me to prison, I was going through something tragic happened. Don't pry on people's tragedy and use that to hurt them, or just be happy that people in the world can be happy. You know what I mean? Stop all this hatred and whatever.
Yeah. Well,
so thank you for doing this. Thank you for letting me be heard.
You got it. Well, thanks for joining us. I'm sure I'll talk to you soon.
You will.
All right. All right. Well, there you have it. Straight from the selfie killer herself, Amanda Taylor. Now, obviously, we've known each other for a while. You can kind of tell the way we interact, smiling and joking around a little bit. We've got to know each other, for a while now, for a few months, maybe a little bit longer. Well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. One of the other reasons I do what I do is there's so many TV shows, documentaries out there, journalists writing articles about people who they don't know. They'll take a little bit of this fact, a little bit of that fact, and write a story about it. But at least we get to hear from them, why they did what they did, what are they feeling about it now, what did they feel about before the crimes. And so at least you have the whole story. You get the whole picture. Like the Happy Face Killer is another show about him. His daughter about growing up, and half the stuff comes out of her mouth is not true about the Happy Face Killer. And there's so much stuff true about that guy. But people want to, keep making movies and all of that, off of all these half-truths. Not about the murders, but about growing up and things. And that's a whole different story. It's a whole podcast for a different day. We'll have Keith Jesperson back on the podcast. But tonight was about Amanda. I hope you enjoyed the podcast, or if you got to learn more about her story, why she did what she did, and hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, see ya.